Just as we all settle back into another hectic year where we're all thinking, well, it can't get any more challenging, any worse than last year. Well, today the DFE and Ofsted have unveiled what they are calling a new era of accountability. Out go the single word grades, in come the colourful new Nando's menu rip-off report cards. But despite all these distracting colours, the big question is anything really going to change? I'll let you work that out. So there is a link to this article that talks through every change in a bit more detail. But in essence, as I've said, no more one-word grades. Instead, you've got 5 labels. And I think they've been reduced because originally I think there was a few more. The 9 judgment areas have also now been cut down to 7. Oh, they really do care. Behaviours merged with attendance, teaching has merged with curriculum. There's a new inclusion grade. All inspections will be full inspections. Reports will be colour-coded with more narrative about the school. All that sort of nonsense. But here's what I want to talk about. What actually isn't changing? Well, the high-stakes nature is going to stay unchanged. As Edmund Bartlett Ward says, out goes the 4 grades across 5 areas, in comes 5 bands across 7 more colours, same stakes. A bad inspection still leads to forced academisation, reputational damage, staff leaving and heads losing their jobs. Even a wellbeing impact report commissioned by Ofsted, done by the CEO of the charity Education Support, has said that the report cards will create more anxiety on leaders with already concerningly high stress levels. There is this interesting point in this wellbeing review where it talks about how there's a wide consensus that more judgment areas will result in many more ways to fail. And on this point of wellbeing, let's remind ourselves that the coroner's inquest into Ruth Perry's death said that it was suicide, which was contributed directly by an Ofsted inspection. Now, there's nothing in what Ofsted have announced that is proving to me that they have learnt their lessons and the system is therefore going to lower those stakes, which contributed to what happened to Ruth Perry. Thirdly, the workload burden. More categories means more evidence, more paperwork, more pointless policies just to tick boxes. I think Senko's workload is going to go through the roof because of this. DSLs and middle leaders will feel personally exposed. Teachers, you are going to see your workload go through the roof, and students are going to get a worse deal as cash from an already really tight budget is just going to be diverted to endless training, support, compliance courses just to tick all the boxes for these new inspections. Next thing that isn't going to change is the trust gap. Stakeholders told this wellbeing review that they see Ofsted as a closed shop incapable of collaboration. And I completely agree. None believed this review would lead to meaningful change. Many expected it would just be a stitch up, more of the same, and just quietly burying everything that happened off the back of the case of Ruth Perry. And crucially, what can still happen is inspectors with personal agendas can walk into a school, make snap judgments that are completely subjective and inconsistent, and schools remain completely helpless with those high stakes. And Ofsted itself still faces no independent accountability. And here's the ultimate frustration for me, right? This was an open goal, a wide open chance for the government, the DFE, to show it was listening to teachers. It was trying to rebuild trust and put well-being at the heart of accountability. Instead, they've just let Ofsted reform itself when we all know it's completely incapable of doing that. It's marked its own homework with no real scrutiny. So what we've got isn't meaningful reform. It's the same punitive, inconsistent, fear-driven inspection regime with a fresh lick of really colourful paint. So what does this mean for you, the teacher, the school staff member doing the job at the chalk face? Well, your job's going to get even harder. Pressure and workload is still going to continue to drive teachers out of the job. Retention rates will keep worsening. And tragically, and I hate to admit this, Ruth Perry, I don't think, will be the last casualty of a system that just simply hasn't learned. So yes, the headlines will say this is a new area of accountability, but with the same high stakes, the same subjectivity, inconsistency, and even high workload, all that's really changing is the colour of the labels. And that isn't reform, it's just rebranding. And all schools, teachers, and our children deserve so much better. But at least schools are going to have plenty of time to move all the goalposts for this new inspection regime. No, you've got a couple of months. Good luck with that.